Welcome to Stonefield Query's Knowledge Center, where we help you take the mystery out of reporting. In today's lesson, we're going to look at how to create a report using the Quick Reports wizard. By the end of today's lesson, we will have looked at main report information, data selection, standard filter options, sorting options, formatting options, and security options. Let's proceed to today's lesson. In today's presentation, I'm going to create a report that will show me my total customer sales from last year. When I click on the New button, the Report Types dialog comes up. As you can see, there are a variety of different types of reports that I can create. Today, we're going to create a new Quick Report. Click OK to launch the Quick Reports wizard. Step 1 is some information about the report. First of all, I'm going to give it a name. I'm going to call this My Sales Report. By default, Stonefield Query will put this into whatever folder you had selected in the Reports Explorer, but of course you can choose a different folder from the drop-down list. I will choose the Training folder. Comments would be anything you want to see back in the Reports Explorer whenever this report is selected, and it usually contains information about when the report gets run, how frequently it's used, and things like that. So we'll just put in a simple comment. This is a sales report. Now we can click on the Next button to proceed to Step 2. Step 2 is the big one. This is where we tell Stonefield Query what should appear in the report. The thing to keep in mind is we're going to tell it what we want and not how to get it from the database as you would have to with other reporting tools. As you are selecting data, one of the things that you will notice is that we see nice descriptive names for all of our tables and fields. Stonefield Query displays the tables and fields with names that are meaningful, rather than those real table and field names like CU HIST and PR CAT. Another thing that you may notice is with optional fields. If you are familiar with how your database is structured, you realize that there are two different tables involved with keys and joins and so on. With Stonefield Query, we make these optional fields appear right in the table that you'd expect them to be. This makes the process of finding tables and fields a lot easier. If you're not sure what a particular field contains, you can always select a field and click on the Values button to see a list of distinct values for that field. Now let's add some fields to the report. We'll start with the contact table, and the first field that we're going to add is the company field. Next, we're going to go to the contact opportunities table and select the total field. From here, we're going to go to the product table and select the product field. The order that you add fields is the order that they will appear in the report. If you'd like to change this order, it's fairly simple to do. It's just a matter of clicking on the field and dragging it to the position that you want. At any point as you're creating your report, if you want to see what the report will look like, simply hit the preview button and Stonefield Query will do a live query against your database and show you the results in a preview window. So here are the results showing us the information that we've asked for. However, this report is not organized very well. There does not appear to be any grouping or sorting, and there are no subtotals and so on. Let's close the preview window and we'll change a few things. The way that you change how a field appears in a report is by double-clicking it or selecting and choosing the Properties box. Either way, you get a Properties dialog box that allows you to change how a field appears, control grouping options, create links, and add comments to a field. What I'm going to do with the company field is, on the grouping page, I'm going to turn on the option Group on this field. By grouping on this field, we can see all the records for that company together. The second thing that I'm going to do with the company field is create a link. Let's go to the links page. Here, I have several options. I can choose to link this field to an email address, a website, another report, or have Stonefield Query perform another action. Let's enable the action option. And the action it will select is to find the record in our database. Now, when we run this report, records in this field will be highlighted, and when we select the record, Stonefield Query will automatically execute our link. To save these changes, select OK. I am also going to change the properties on the total field. This column heading is not very descriptive, so I'm going to rename it to Tax Total. Now let's go to the Format page. Here, I'm going to turn on the option of Sum. This is going to tell Stonefield Query that we want to see subtotals at the end of each group break and grand totals at the end of the report. Once again, select OK. once again choose the preview button. This time the report is organized the way we would like it to be. Here are all the invoices for the various divisions of A1 Services, ABS Garbage, and so on. You will also notice that the company names are underlined and in a different color. This is because I enabled an action link in the Properties dialog box. Now when I click on a company name, it will locate the corresponding record in the database. In order to run this report, Stonefield Query had to join two different tables, but you will notice that I did not specify any join information, nor did I need to. I don't have to know anything about the SQL language or joins or foreign keys. I simply tell Stonefield Query what I want and it gives me the results that I need. It automatically knows how to join all the tables. Now the issue with this report is that it's showing every record in the entire database, which is not something that we typically want. So let's close the preview window and go to the next step. Step 3 is filtering. By setting up filter conditions, we can specify which records appear in the report based on criteria that I've established. In this report, I'm looking for all invoices from 2007. Knowing how information is stored in this database, we can set up our filter condition. Stonefield Query will allow me to filter on any field in the database, even if that record does not appear in the report. Let's launch the filter dialog box by selecting the filter button. To create our filtering condition, click the Add button to launch the filter condition dialog box. In order to set up our filtering conditions, we need to choose the table and field in which our data is stored. I already know that the information that I'm looking for is stored in the Contact Opportunities table in the actual close date field. The next step is to choose an operator. You'll notice that for all of our operators we have nice English expressions: equals, does not equals, is greater than, and so on. I'm going to choose is between. That's pretty handy for dates. Now I'll enter my date range. You can either type in the date or choose it from a drop-down calendar. I'm going to type in my starting date, January 1st, 2007, and I'm going to choose my ending date of December 31st, 2007 from a drop-down calendar. The next time I run this report, I might be interested in a different date range, and I would not want to have to go back in and modify this filter condition every time. So I'm going to choose Ask at Runtime. This will tell Stonefield Query that I want to be prompted for a date range every time I run this report. Now, choose OK to save this condition. Now we see that our filter condition is a nice English expression. You could add other conditions, but we'll just stick with this one for now. So, I will choose OK. From the Quick Reports wizard, we're going to preview the report once again. Because I turned on the Ask at Runtime option, Stonefield Query will prompt me for a new date range. We can either accept the default dates or enter new dates. We can even choose to ignore this condition for this particular run. I'm just going to choose OK and accept the default dates. Now when we preview the report, we only get 48 records. And here are the results. You will notice that the filter condition is shown in a nice English expression in the page header. Let's close the preview window and return to the Quick Reports wizard. We can also set up filters to exclude records from our report. For example, give me a listing of all the customers that we did not contact last year so that we can reconnect with them. This is another nice feature that you don't see in other reporting tools. Now let's proceed to step 4. The next step is sorting. As you can see, the initial sort order is by company. If you recall from step 2, we grouped on the company field so that we could see all the invoices together. Within the initial sort, we can add additional fields and have multiple levels of sorting, and we can change the order from ascending to descending order. Now let's proceed to step 5. The next step is formatting. You can specify a header and footer for each page. In the case of orientation, automatic means that Stonefield Query will automatically change the orientation to landscape if it's too wide for portrait, a nice feature you don't see in other reporting tools. However, if you wanted to, you could force it to a particular orientation. Templates are another nice feature. If I choose a different template, such as Ledger, and run the report again, then enter my filter conditions, this time the report looks different. Now we see gray bands over top of every second detail line and dark boxes over top of the group headers. Once again, let's close the preview window and return to the Reports Explorer. Templates are a nice feature that allow you to control the appearance of a report. As I showed you earlier, we do provide you with a number of built-in templates. However, we also provide you with a template editor, so you can modify the appearance of a template or create your own custom template. Now let's proceed to step 6. The last step when you're creating a report is security. By default, everyone will have access, but that may not be appropriate for all report types, so we can remove everyone from the list and indicate that only administrators have access. Now that I'm done designing this report, I simply hit the Finish button and it gets saved into my Reports Explorer. In today's lesson, we learned how to create a report using the Quick Reports wizard. We learned about the main report information, data selection, standard filter options, sorting options, formatting options, and security options. Thank you for watching today's presentation on Quick Reports.